Greetings hobbyists, this is Add Ons. In this video we're adding detail to stonework or paving, but this time using paid for add-ons. So in the previous videos we're creating these different paving styles, something that looks like this sort of brick pattern, something that's a bit more basic, and we've done that in a couple of different ways. We also had a look at how we can turn these into bases, which is why this has got a block at the bottom so that this makes a 3D printable shape. There's a link to that video in the description, so you can check that out if you want to. We've also had a look at how we can add detail to this using functions in Blender, and today we're going to have a look at how we can do that using paid for add-ons, which allow us to add in quite a lot more detail and do things just in a bit of a quicker and more efficient way. Now, to make this as effective as possible, especially for the demonstration, I'm going to select this and apply the modifiers and this so that we've got these, and I'm going to tab into edit mode, A to select everything, P and separate by loose parts, and then we've got all of these as individual bits. Now, annoyingly, that leaves the origins for these all where the original object was, and we don't want that. It would make rotating something like this like really weird. So what we're going to do is, at the same point we've got all these selected, go to Object, Set Origin, and Origin to Geometry. So now all of the origins are in the correct place, well, in the center. So we could rotate this round to add a little bit more wear or show something that's happened to our paving to make it less, well, perfect. So we're going to have a look at two add-ons today, one called Cracker and the other called One Click Damage. Now in combination, these do a lot to add some wear and tear to our bases. And we'll start with Cracker because it's the least computer intensive, I would say. The other ones are a little bit more demanding, but I've found that they work fine. And Cracker does exactly what it says it's going to. It allows us to crack things into different bits really quickly. So once it's installed, all you do is hit Control and W and we get your crack. It's rotating, and we can hit G. Oh, I just realized my screencast keys aren't on. Let's just bring those on. So click on the object, Control and W to add in the crack, and then G to allow this to move, R to go back to rotating. We can also use some of the commands that are in the top. We've got T to change the thickness. I'll go to about there. D to change the displacements. That's how sort of wiggly everything is. And then we can change that with the S to change the noise scale. So that can be quite useful. And then there are other functions as well, but those are generally the ones I use the most. Once you've got that done, you just click and it's done. It's broken into two parts. Again, putting the origins in sensible places. So I could, for example, rotate this round a little bit to, again, add some sort of wear or the look of some impact that's happened onto my stone. Now there are a few more options here which are quite nice. So if we just come onto this one, Control and W to do the same thing again, and let's just change the thickness a little bit. If I hold down Shift and click, this then gives us this geometry node setup that we've got here as a modifier, and we get loads and loads and loads of different options here. I'm not going to go through all of them. If you'd like that, do let me know. I'm happy to do a video on that. And you get some extra options like being able to take off a side. I really like the way that they've made this very clear in its iconography, and we could also do something like that which pushes our bits down a little bit as if something has caused this crack and that has displaced it. Or we could go in the opposite direction if we've got something moving upwards. So a really nice tool with loads and loads of potential options here. Now, one thing I would mention, actually it doesn't look too bad here, is these cracks sometimes can go at a bit of a weird angle. So if you are doing this for 3D printing, my recommendation is to come in, go into edit mode, select your vertices and make this a really thin panel, something like that. Then create your cracks. So Control and W, let's do something there, and then let's do another one there. That would look quite good. Something like that. And then we can select these, go into edit mode, and then select those bottom points again. And then just G and Z those down to the desired thickness, and that makes this pretty much perfectly straight or close to, which means you're going to get many less issues with 3D printing. So that is Cracker. I really, really like that. It's a vastly quicker way of adding this detailing in compared to what we looked at using free techniques in the last video. But again, if you don't want to pay for an add-on, that is an option there. Now the next add-on that we've got is One Click Damage. These are available together as a bundle. There's a link in the description for that bundle and for these individually. They are affiliate links, which means they cost you no extra but help the channel out. So if you are interested in any of these, that would be really appreciated if you use those, but no pressure. I appreciate times are rough at the moment. But one-click damage is not done with a command. Instead, in the end panel, we go to one-click damage. And we've got two options here. They can be used individually or together in whichever order you want. We'll have a look at ordering in a little bit because it means you can create some really nice narrative to your bases. But one-click damage, if we just click make damage, creates some chips, basically. We get, again, a load of options. I won't go through all of these, but we can change the pattern of our chips by clicking change pattern. This effectively randomizes this noise seed, so we could do the same down here if we wanted to. We can also change the noise type. There, I think, used to be more options here. I used to really like the cloud option, which doesn't seem to be there, but we've got another Voronoi function, which is a bit more sort of smoothed off. I quite like the noise ones that look a bit more sort of chipped and things like that. You can do things like changing the voxel size, which is going to change how detailed everything is. And that's worth knowing because it can change how demanding this is on your computer. We can change the amount of damage to make this bigger or smaller. I generally try to not go too far. Again, scale, which will actually not make it more or less damaged. It just sort of adds another bit of variation, I find. And they're generally the ones that I play around with. So we get these nice little chips. And then once you're happy with this, you can click apply. Alternatively, if you want several things to look the same, in fact, let's just change these around a little bit. So if you want several objects to look about the similar level of damage, what you can do is click those objects and click on the one that you've decided looks good, and then just click copy damage. And it doesn't make it exactly the same, which we wouldn't want, but it does mean you get a nice range here. And then anytime you're done, because this is a modifier, you can either come here and click apply all, or if you want to apply multiple at the same time, just select all the ones with this one-click damage applied to, and then click apply. And it does it to all of them, so you don't have to do it individually. The other option we've got is this Go Hero option. Now this is a little bit more complicated. It's going to involve you going into geometry nodes, but it does add a huge amount of power, and I think I can cover the basics in this video that would allow you to create something that is the detail you want. So we click Go Hero, straight away look at that lovely texture. We get this nice worn look as if we've got some paving that's been there for centuries and been slowly worn away. And we have a huge amount of control on this. Now to control this, we don't have the options really here in this modifier. We have to go into geometry node. So just scroll up from the bottom corner, go into your geometry node editor, and we can see we've got this set up here. Now, I would recommend, firstly, changing the name of this so that you've got something that you can refer to later. So I'm going to call this paving. And if I just scroll this up a bit, so we've got this nice and big, we get what can look a little bit complicated, but the main bits that you've got here are these two displace options. You've basically got the same thing, or what looks like the same thing, twice. But what these do is control different levels of damage. What you might be able to tell is you've got these sort of big bits of flatter wear. So you've got one here, another one here, another one here. And then you get the smaller damage in the middle. And you can turn either of these off. So for example, if I don't want the smaller damage, that's this second one. If I click on this and hit M, you'll notice we lose that and just keep that sort of main bit of damage. And I really like doing that. I generally get rid of this and just keep one bit of damage that I think makes it look like we've got something that was a paving stone and it's just been worn away, maybe not over thousands of years, but over quite a long time. We also have our displacement, which says how far this is going to go, and we can take that up to 0 or not. And I will generally go to here and I'll click invert so that now that we've got the flat bit, and if we offset, you can see what we're doing. So you've got the flat bit, which is where the paving was, and then the bit that's been damaged into this. So that is my general way of doing this. And you'll notice it's also doing it on the side, which I try to avoid for 3D printing. We can come here to our displace axis and then just say, no, I only want this working in the Z axis. And suddenly you've got something very 3D printable with all the detail that you could want. And we can change that displacement if you want to make it more or less. So you could do a lot. If you wanted to go really far, I'm going to do a bit less and do something like that. And if you want to control it a bit more, hold down Shift as you're doing it, and you get some really nice fine control. There are other things. So each one of these, you've got this one here, links to our noise information here, and so that's for the fine detail, and the larger detail links to these, and we can again play around with these as much as we want. So for example, we can change the seed, change the level of detail. So at the moment it's 2, let's just up that a little bit, and you can see it gets a little bit more cracked and broken. Now some of this is going to be too small for a 3D printer to really make out, so I wouldn't go too high with that number, but something to add that nice texture looks really good. Now this invert button is different to this one. This inverts the direction of the displacement. So you can see that going upwards, we changed it to going downwards. This one does the opposite because it's a mask and says we'll actually bring the other bit in. So if we decide that we want it the other way around, we could do that if we wanted to. I actually quite like it the way it is, so I'm going to stick with that. And again, we've got things that you can fiddle with. Play around with it. If you do want me to do a more detailed video, then I'll happily talk more about this, but I think that's probably enough to get you started. Now, we can either convert this to a mesh or leave it. I'm going to quite intentionally leave it at this point, so notice we have not applied this at this point with this to mesh button, but we can click here and click copy and then come to this one and then go hero and click paste, and it's going to do exactly the same thing. We've still got the option, if we want to, notice this has changed it to paving. If we just do this again, go hero, it's not the paving one, click paste, and we've got the paving one. We can still, if we want to, fiddle around with things like the seed, so I could move that, but it is going to change all of them because they're slightly connected. If you want to make them separated, just come here, click this icon there, and now it's separated, and I can change the seed of just this one, and we could do this one as well and change the seed of just this one until we end up with what we're happy with. So I really like this. I think it looks like something that's been worn down maybe more by weathering, like acid rain eating away at the surface of this paving, something that's been much more gradual, whereas this is the edges getting chipped away by people walking over it, and then the cracks are things like doing major impacts that are breaking our panels into different parts. Now what's really cool about this is how we can combine those together, and your choice of your ordering. Well, I say ordering, like you can do this later as you choose to. So let's have a look at this separately. We've got this one. We're going to apply the mesh for this one. So now this is applied, whereas this one has not been applied. What this means is in the one that's been applied, I can, let's come to top view, Control and W, and add some sort of crack in using our cracker function. Let's just add in something like that. Let's rotate it around to sort of there, move it to there, and we'll do that. So this has now broken this stone into parts. But importantly, this crack obviously has happened more recently because it's not been affected by the weathering that's gone on to this stone. So we get this control of being able to tell the people looking at this base the order that things happened in. This is an ancient city with this paving, but it has recently been having some sort of conflict that's caused everything to be cracked. And if I wanted to, I could also click that make damage button and we get the damage and chips. But again, this looks more recent chipping that has happened. Let's do that to this one as well. So we've got that as an option. Let's just come to this one and make it as a mesh, and we'll Control and W for that one as well, and we'll add a crack. So here we've got just the crack. Here we've got that crack and some chipping. Whereas on this one, bearing in mind that this is still active, we can do exactly the same thing. I can Control and W to add in this crack. This will look a little bit rubbish at this point, but just bear with me. Let's just go to there and then click. And then once that's done, this is going to become part of this wear. Now, sometimes this can cause some slight issues. You can notice that here, so do be a little bit aware of that. So that is something to consider. Let's just Control and W. What we might want to do is just add a little bit more thickness there so it's going to cause less of a problem, and then click, and then you'll see a little bit better. Not perfect though. Then I can also make damage as well, and then this is going to add that damage. Now, interestingly, it automatically does the damage first, and then that paving texture afterwards. So what we've got now is something that looks like this crack happened a long time ago, as well as this chipping, and now it has been worn away afterwards. So this might have been a city that centuries ago had a load of conflict going on in it, and since has then been left, and everything's become worn away. So we get very different looks For this, I just am going to come here. I'm just going to change this seed till it looks a little bit better. Something there-ish. That might look a little bit better for this. So you get these really nice options of telling a story in your base. So this gives some really nice options in telling a story with the damage that occurs. Yeah, I know, some people are going to listen to this video and go, God, you are being really pedantic about some tiny bases on the bottom of your toy soldiers. But I like that. It's something I'm going to know is there, and I don't care if other people know about it. It suits my narrative and the history that I want my models to have, and the world that I want them to be fighting in. So here's a few examples of those being printed. We've got the plain paving, just using Cracker to add some detail, and with some extra sand and stones, that's going to look really nice. Then we've got the paving with the weathering and the cracks added later after it's been applied, simulating the cracks having happened a bit more recently. And then finally the cracks being applied first, and then the weathering done afterwards, so everything looks a little bit more worn. I appreciate some of the difference could be tricky to see when it's just being filmed by my video camera, but it is noticeable enough in person. Anyway, hopefully that's a bit of insight into some add-ons that can help you with your paving or stone details. If you found that interesting, hit that like button, or if you have any comments on things you like to do 3D design-wise to your bases to add some interest, I'd be really interested to hear them, and if you've got any add-ons that you recommend yourself. I'll get these base topper files up on the Patreon in case you're interested, and there's something I'm going to do more of in the future, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day, guys.